Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I will be showing you how to crochet Duo, the Duolingo owl. So to begin, these are the materials we are going to be using. You will need an 8.0 millimeter crochet hook, some scissors, a stitch marker, a yarn needle, and polyfill stuffing. For the majority of this pattern, we are going to be working in continuous rounds with a small section worked by making a chain, and these are the stitches we will be using in the pattern. We will be starting out mostly by using a magic ring and then using single crochets, increases, decreases, double crochets, and half double crochets, slip stitches, and making a chain and working into it. All of the yarns are the super bulky weight 6 yarns. You can use whatever brands or colors you would like as long as they are the super bulky. These are the ones that I used. Bernat Baby Blanket in the color green, Bernat Baby Blanket in the color lemon lime, Bernat Blanket Brights in the color carrot orange, Big Twist Plush in the color black, and I am missing my label for this one, but it is Bernat Baby Blanket in the color white. We are going to start out making the body and using the green yarn. For round 1, you are going to make a magic ring and put 6 single crochets in it. Once you finish the 6 single crochets, you are going to pull the yarn tail and close up your magic ring. Round 2, we are going to make 6 increases. So at the end of round 2, you will have a total of 12 stitches. This is where I will begin using stitch markers. I highly recommend. I place my stitch marker in the first stitch of round 2, the first part of the increase. For round 3, we are going to be making 1 single crochet and then 1 increase, and we are going to repeat that all of round 3 a total of 6 times. At the end of round 3, you should have 18 total stitches. Round 4, we are going to be making 2 single crochets and then 1 increase, and we are going to be repeating that a total of 6 times. At the end of round 4, you should have a total of 24 stitches. Round 5, we are going to be making 3 single crochets and then 1 increase. We are going to repeat that 6 times. At the end of round 5, you should have a total of 30 stitches. For round 6, we are going to be making 4 single crochets and then 1 increase, repeating that 6 times around. At the end of round 6, you should have a total of 36 stitches. Round 7, we are going to be making 5 single crochets and then 1 increase, repeating that a total of 6 times. At the end of round 7, you should have a total of 42 stitches. Rounds 8 through 21 are all going to be the same. It's going to be 42 single crochets. We will just be making 1 single crochet in each stitch. Since these are all going to be repeating rounds, I will work round 8 on screen and then rounds 9 through 21 off screen. You can pause the video at the end of round 8 and come back to it when you're ready for round 22. So I have now completed round 21. This is what it is looking like so far. Round 22, we are going to be making 5 single crochets and then 1 decrease, repeating that 6 times. At the end of round 22, you should have a total of 36 stitches. So at this point you can start stuffing the body. You don't want to stuff it too full because we are going to be crocheting across the top to close it up. And I sort of just shape the stuffing as I go so that it isn't too lumpy in one area. You want it to be more round. Once you have the body stuffed, we can now work on closing up the top. To do that, we are going to fold the top together and crochet through the front and the back. We are going to start off by making 2 double crochets, and you want to make sure you are going through the front and the back. And then we make our second double crochet in the next available stitch in the front and the back. And then we are going to make 1 half double crochet. And then we are going to make single crochets across the top. This can vary depending on how you are going through the front and the back. For me, it took 12 single crochets to get to the end with 3 stitches left because we are going to want to do a half double crochet and 2 double crochets at the end, also the same as we did for the beginning. So as you single crochet across the top, make sure to leave the last 3 stitches for the half double crochet and 2 double crochets. So once you reach the end with 3 stitches left, you are going to make a half double crochet and then 2 double crochets in the last 2 stitches. And then you are going to finish off your work and cut the yarn with enough of a yarn tail to weave back in. For the wings, we are going to be using that same green yarn. For round 1, we are going to start with a magic ring and make 6 single crochets in it. At the end of those 6 single crochets, you can pull your yarn tail and close the magic ring. Round 2, we are going to be making 6 increases. At the end of round 2, you should have a total of 12 stitches. I'll be placing my stitch marker at the beginning of that first increase, marking the beginning of round 2. Round 3, we are going to be doing 1 single crochet and then 1 increase. That'll be repeated 6 times. At the end of round 3, you should have a total of 18 stitches. Round 4, we will be doing 2 single crochets and then 1 increase, repeating that 6 times. At the end of round 4, you should have a total of 24 stitches. So at the end of that round, we are now going to fold the wing in half and make 12 half double crochets, closing the wing up. You'll be crocheting through the front and the back. We will also not be adding any stuffing to the wings. At the end, you are going to now finish off your work and leave a long yarn tail for sewing the wing onto the body later. And you will need to make 2 wings. For the beak, we are going to be using the carrot orange yarn. We are going to make a magic ring and crochet 6 single crochets in it. At the end of round 1, you can pull the yarn tail and close up the magic ring. For round 2, we are going to be making 6 single crochets. At the end of round 2, we will finish off our work and leave a long yarn tail for sewing. You want to make sure that the yarn tail is pulled really tight from the magic ring. We aren't going to stuff the beak. You can just sort of use the yarn tail from the magic ring to kind of stuff back into the beak. For the feet, we are going to be using that same orange color. We're going to make a magic ring. This time we are only going to put 4 single crochets in the magic ring. At the end of round 1, you can pull the yarn tail and close up the magic ring. For round 2, we are now going to chain 1 and we are going to work back along the stitches we just made. Instead of continuing in a circle like we regularly would, we are going to turn our work and work back along what we just made. So we are going to skip that chain stitch that we made and we are going to make 4 increases. And now you can finish off your work and leave a long yarn tail for sewing. You will need to make 2 feet. For the eyes, we are going to begin using the black yarn and we are going to make a magic ring. We are going to put a total of 6 single crochets in that magic ring, but the last stitch is going to be a color change. So I put 5 single crochets and then I go ahead and start to tighten down my magic ring. So here after the 5th stitch, I will go ahead and pull the yarn tail to close the magic ring, and I will begin the 6th stitch using the black yarn, and I will complete the stitch using the white yarn, and we will continue on using the white yarn for round 2. Round 2, we are going to be making 6 increases. At the end of round 2, you should have a total of 12 stitches. Before we begin round 3, we can tie up our yarn ends from the color changes. I tie together the yarn from the magic ring tail along with the color change yarn, and then I will tie the white tail to the black yarn. For round 3, we are going to be making 1 single crochet and then 1 increase, repeating that 6 times. At the end of round 3, you should have a total of 18 stitches. And at the very end of round 3, we are going to have another color change. So the very last stitch, we are going to begin with the white yarn, and we are going to complete the stitch with the lemon lime yarn. So here on that last stitch of round 3, we are going to start the stitch with the white yarn, and we are going to complete it using the lemon lime yarn, and we will continue using the lemon lime yarn for round 4. Round 4, we are going to be doing 2 single crochets and then 1 increase. We are going to repeat that only 4 times. After you have repeated that 4 times, we are going to start working in double crochets for the remainder of the round. We will be doing 2 double crochets and then a double crochet increase, and you will repeat that 2 times. At the end of round 4, you will have a total of 24 stitches. So from here, we are going to complete the round using double crochets now, and we will be doing 2 double crochets and then a double crochet increase. the end of round 4, we are going to slip stitch onto the first stitch of the round, and then we are going to finish off our work and leave a long yarn tail for sewing. And you will need to make 2 eyes. For the strip in between his eyes, we are going to make a chain 4. And beginning in the second chain from hook, we are going to single crochet 3 times back along the chain. Once you reach the end of the chain, we are going to finish off our work and leave a long yarn tail for sewing. So now we are going to start assembling. We are going to weave in the end from where we made the body. I like to sew on the nose first so I can kind of get it centered and then base everything else around that. So I find the center point on the top first, and then I will count down 7 rows from the top, and that is where I will sew on the nose. I make sure that the spot where I finished off is sewn on the bottom. Next, I will sew on the eyes. Before I sew the eyes on, I trim all of the yarn tails on the back so that they don't make the eye too bulky or like bulge out. So you want the corner of the eye to touch the side of the beak and the lowest point of the eye to be sewn on level with the bottom of the beak. You also want the double crochets that we did on the last round of the eye to be at the top, and when you sew them on, you want to sew close to the white so that the double crochets will kind of stick out. So once you have both eyes sewn on, we are now going to sew on the wings. You want the rounded edge to be towards the front. I sew mine on at an angle, kind of tilting backwards, right below the ear and level with the bottom of the eye. And I only sew along the top, about 4 or 5 stitches just along the top, so that the bottom of the wing is out from the body. And here is how he is looking with both of his wings now sewn on. Next, we are going to sew on the little lime green detailing that he has on his chest. We'll be using the lemon lime yarn. I already have his feet sewn on, but they will be in the next section where I show you how to sew them on. I had already completed him, and I ended up not liking the placement of the chest detailing, so I had to cut it all out and redo it. So that's why this is kind of out of order. I basically just sew on 3 stitches, 1 on the bottom and then 2 on the upper line. For his feet, you want to sew them on close to the original magic ring that we did for the body. And I only sew along the back, kind of almost straight line. Here is a look at the bottom with the feet sewn on. And finally, now we are going to sew on the little strip that is going to connect his eyes together. So we are going to place this right on top of the beak and stitch all the way around it, connecting it to both of the eyes. And with that, he is now complete. I hope that you enjoyed this crochet tutorial. If you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. And thank you for watching.